All right, I'm Nick. Now, I just finished filming a video recording the first 50 rounds through the brand new Springfield XD Mod 3. However, I never turned the audio receiver on, so there's no audio. So we're going to do it again. There were 0 malfunctions through the first 50 rounds. The first 50 rounds, I did shoot 115 grain MagTech. For these 50, we're going to shoot 115 grain Fiocchi through it and see how it does. If you haven't watched the unboxing, the XD Mod 3, it does come with an optics ready slide. You may, however, need a particular optics plate from them, which will cost you about $25 from my research. However, we don't have those optics plates, and I haven't done much research on it. I just wanted to come out and shoot it, okay? First 50 rounds, no malfunctions. It shoots pretty good. I said in the unboxing, it is about the exact same size as the Glock 19. It does have a grip safety. It does have a magazine release on both sides of the pistol, which I am a fan of. Obviously, you have a blade safety on the trigger, a flat trigger, and a pretty solid quality brake. The slide stop or slide release is only on the left side of the pistol, which is pretty much the equivalent to a Gen 4 Glock 19, okay? It's pretty nice though. Fits the hand well. It has pretty good grip. Red fiber optic. It only comes with one 16-round magazine. You guys know I hate that, but for $325, you could probably buy a few of these on the internet and have a lot more magazines. And you may already have an XD, and you should have some magazine compatibility there. Okay, so now I already shot it. First few rounds, we'll just shoot it out here so you guys can see the recoil. It's not the flattest shooting thing in the world, but it's not that snappy either. The reset on the trigger is a little bit long. It's not a big deal once you get used to it. I've said it a bunch of times before. If you shoot a bunch of different pistols, sometimes the first magazine, the second magazine, you're not used to the different trigger. But once you get used to it, I had no problem going fast. Oh, tree. It's a pretty darn good shooting pistol for $325. Of course, I started missing, okay? So, for $325, man, it's honestly really good. And I think that what we're going to start seeing as consumers over the course of the next few months is prices are going to drop drastically on all of these pistols. And this is probably their way of rolling out a pistol for a cheaper budget just to sell more guns. Obviously, they have the Echelon, which is obviously more expensive. They have the Hellcat, which is more expensive. And then they give you this, which honestly does everything that you needed to do for $325. I think you're going to start seeing that from a lot of gun manufacturers. And then the question really comes down to, if they can produce this pistol for $325, why do we pay so much for the rest of the pistols? I don't personally care about a fancy box. I don't care about a fancy box. Send me a cardboard box all day. But like this pistol right here, it has slide serrations. They're nice. It's got front slide serrations. It has rear slide serrations. I can't talk. Slide serrations. It has this groove back here. It is really nice. That way you can get a good grip if you run the gun from the rear of the gun. It has iron sights with a fiber optic front. This slide costs the same to mill as the other slides. It takes the same amount of time on the machine to mill. This grip is injection molded. It takes the same amount of time to injection mold this grip. So if the grip is injection molded and the slide is milled, how did other guns cost more? And I think that's a question that consumers need to start asking, because the price differences don't actually make sense if you're a consumer. I will tell you that I am not the biggest fan of red. I may have a little bit of red color blind in my life, not like hardcore, but I do have a hard time picking up red. A lot of times I use green dots. I'm just a bigger fan of that, so I'm not the biggest fan of that red fiber optic. but that's easily changed out. Let's fast forward through this reloading. All right, here's another 15. So we're quickly approaching the 100 round mark. We still haven't had any malfunctions. All right. The goal was just to go through that magazine as fast as possible. Obviously, we've experimented in the past. Sometimes you go faster and the gun has issues. I wasn't worried about hitting that target. Just put them all out there and see what happens. 0 malfunctions. Obviously, the gun is snappier than some of the guns that we've shot recently, but you're shooting comped guns, you're shooting heavier guns. A lot of factors go into that. 5 more rounds just to get us to 100. There's a steel target out here. All right, 2 for 3. It's a 7x11 target at about 30 yards. Like I said before, the red dot, I'm not the biggest fan of the red front sight. That's just personal preference, nothing to do with the gun. It has a rail, that way you can put your light on there if you want to put a light on there. For $325, this would not be a bad home defense pistol. I love metal magazines. I don't really like plastic magazines. I feel like metal magazines come out of the gun better. They just eject from the gun better. Personal preference, nothing to it. But man, it's not a bad looking gun, which is important to some folks. It only comes with 1 magazine, that's the problem. So we'll look into prices on those magazines. But man, we're 100 rounds in, no malfunctions. We've had malfunctions out of a lot of really expensive guns well before the first 100 rounds. You know, whether it was the Fuse, the Prodigy, that Canic, I could probably go on. Guns do have malfunctions sometimes, but they should not. They should have better tolerances from the factory. This thing is very, very smooth. I was surprised to see it. Very, very smooth. Everything about it works well. And for $325, it may be very, very hard to beat. The grip texture is nice. It does have little finger grooves. Some people don't like that. But in my experience, it actually tucks your hand up underneath that beaver tail pretty nicely. Okay, so I'll stop rambling about it. No malfunctions. I would buy this long before I buy any of the $500 Glock clones. Okay, just thoughts to end the video on. For $325, I would buy this before I bought a Glock clone any day of the week. Okay, thanks for watching.